this morning. It just makes a whole lot more sense, so you can cover it at one time. I brought a couple of things in this morning. I'm going to pass these around in a bit, but what I have here is multiple eggs, different sizes, different colors. I want to talk to you about it. And my main reason for doing so is we're looking at resourcing whole food sources of protein. Whole food sources of protein, primarily of animal origin, have all the 9 essential amino acids in, okay? So when you look at the 9 essential amino acids, we always go by the Hill NPTI acronym. Anybody want to help me with that? What does the H stand for?
Histidine.
Histidine. The I stands for? Isoleucine. First L?
Leucine.
Leucine. Next L? Lysine. M? Methionine. P? Phenylalanine. And the T? Tryptophan. Next T? Threonine. And the last one? Valine. Yep. So, and we now know out of the 9 essential amino acids, the 3 that are considered the branch chain amino acids are your isoleucine, leucine, and valine, of which leucine tends to be the most anti-catabolic because it has a direct impact on your genetic profile. Remember, it transcripts with something called your AKT-mTOR gene pathway that allows you, coupled with the mechanical resistance that you need to elicit hypertrophy, does exactly that. However, for years and years and years, we now know that albumin is the white found in the egg. It's excluding the yolk, okay? And what we now know categorically is that the albumin, or the egg white, is the best whole food source of protein that you can possibly get, all right? If indeed eggs is your thing. In addition, albumin, or the egg white, has got 4 figures that also lies in its favor. So from a physiological or biological standpoint, it's got the highest chemical score of 100. It's got the highest net protein utilization of 100. It's got a protein efficiency ratio that's also higher, and and a biological value that's also of 100. So there are values that cannot be, it seems, surpassed by any other forms of whole food. Now granted, if you're vegetarian or vegan, there are loads of options out there nowadays that you can also, so complementary protein blending is very commonplace. However, I do want to talk to you about eggs. These are organic eggs from the Williams household, and as you can clearly see, and somebody made note of it before, there's different colors and there's different sizes here, okay? And I just want to, if I can, enlighten you a bit on why that's the case. So what you have here is 6 eggs, and these 6 eggs come from 6 different breeds, all right? So for example, when you go to a shop and you find a big white egg, that's from a hen called a Leghorn. A Leghorn is probably the most commercially used hens in the business. They're pretty much like laying machines, and they'll lay over 350 eggs a year, non-stop. The 6 that I have, every day they lay. I know because I have 6 white eggs that they only breed, okay? This smaller egg here is from a breed called the Salmon Feverel. It is one that's been kind of manufactured. It's also got an additional toe, or toe. It's also got feathers on its feet as well. It's got the small of the egg. And then you have these 2 here. You have a blue and you have a green. These are actually another breed that's been manufactured. It's called an Easter egger. It doesn't mean that the egg in the inside is any different in terms of content. It just means that the egg shell is a different color because the breed is different. Here I have one called a Barrett Rock, and the next one here is Rhode Island Red. All right, so different breeds, different color eggs. But because these hens are fed organic scratching and organic food, and they're also free range, you will also find in these eggs, if you want to pass it around, that they are higher in certain things such as omega-3s or essential fats, but also higher in protein, and that's been totally substantiated by most independent research, in addition to additional vitamins such as A and also D. So it's in your best benefit if you want to really go for the, let's say, most nutritious protein, that organic eggs, make sure that you resource your organic eggs from indeed good sources. In addition to that, what I have here also is what was utilized back in the commercial era, probably back in the 40s and 50s, if not before, to be perfectly honest. And what it is, it's a scale. If you ever wondered why you go to a shop and you have different egg sizes, they'll say small or whatever the case might be, large, extra large. What you have is a weighing scale here. Now clearly I brought this in because it is quite a lot of history here, but in the modern era they have digital scales, okay? So I'm going to show you how it works. And what you would do is, thank you, let's use the salmon flavorol egg first, and what we're going to do is just put it on here, and you'll see that it registers, what? As medium. Absolutely. Okay, if you go for the Leghorn, large, and we're going to go for the Rhode Island Red. Yep. So that's how. Now imagine if your job every day was to take thousands of eggs and weigh them. So clearly in commercial settings they have much more digitized systems whereby they can actually weigh the eggs and put them in the correct containers. Also with eggs like this, so these eggs, just so that you know, were actually laid yesterday. At no stage do we refrigerate the eggs, and no stage do we actually indeed clean the eggs, as in put water on it, so it maintains its bloom. And these will preserve for as long as you need to, within the context of an organic setting. Okay? Any questions on that?
Do they taste different?
They certainly do. They certainly taste different. I would also say that the albumin tends to be quicker and thicker and less runny, in my opinion. Also, if I were to open one of these eggs, you would see that the yolk and the egg itself is less adulterated from any type of other fragmentation, let's say. It really is pure and it's clear. Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Which one is my favorite? My favorite chicken is the salmon flavorol that lays the smallest egg, but she is the spoiled one. But you know, I love them all, to be perfectly honest, because I've had them since they were chickens, and so they're like part of the Williams family. Yeah, but the ones that I absolutely love, that I love picking up, is clearly the blues and the greens, because it's unique, in my opinion. And I've had people that I've given these eggs to, and they've kept these, they wouldn't eat them. They said that they see them as good luck. So you know, each to their own type thing. Yeah. Cool. Any further questions on albumin? So again, albumin, egg white, has got a chemical score of 100, biological value of 100, net protein utilization of about 97. I think I said 100 before, it's 97. And also a protein exchange ratio that is relatively high also, that is unsurpassed by any other whole food sources. Okay? Go, Justin.
As far as the yolk is concerned,
yeah.
Like if you were to have a 4-egg omelet every single day,
mm-hmm.
You don't think it's right that you should take at least one of those yolks out?
Right.
To kind of,
so
it's really concentrated. That's all it is. It's just
it is very
fat,
concentrated,
right?
but and I know people have a concern about cholesterol. Okay. The daily cholesterol intake is not very high. The recommendation is about 300 milligrams a day. So in one of these eggs, you've got pretty much probably about 175 milligrams, more or less. So if you were to take 2 egg yolks in a day, it means that you have technically oversubscribed on your cholesterol content. Okay. Back in the UK, if you're diagnosed with a heart disease of any type, what we tend to do is say, hey, you're not allowed to have any more than 2 whole eggs in a week, but you cannot have the 2 eggs with the yolk that's included on the same day. There is loads of theories whether it's good or bad. From my standpoint, I think if it's organically resourced like that, I think, you know, 2 or 3 of these eggs a day, with the amount of working that we do and the amount of muscle proteins that is required, I don't think there's a problem. But you're right. People normally do a 1-to-7 ratio, and there's different techniques there. So each to their own. They get more albumin, and I can understand that. If you historically coming in with a high cholesterol content, let's say your total cholesterol is over 200 milligrams per deciliter, yes, I would say maybe 2 eggs a day is your limit for sure, and probably not every day. Okay. So there is a concern, absolutely. From my standpoint, because they're organic and they're rich in nutrients, I'd say, okay, within a certain moderation, take them on board. It's good. Like you said, loads of vitamins and minerals, totally unparalleled in my opinion.
What's the nutrition difference between the albumin and the yolk? I mean, if you're taking the yolk out, what are you losing?
Vitamins and minerals.
Yeah,
that's what.
Is
yeah,
most of it in the yolk.
All of it's in the yolk for the most part. The albumin or the protein part is the egg white.
Right.
Absolutely. So you are excluding that, which is very, very important. But also from a taste standpoint, you know, if you were to do an omelet as an example, looking at a transparent omelet doesn't really give you much desire. If I was to crack these open and I used to make an omelet for you right now, you will see how bright yellow and orange it is by comparison to one that's a caged hen lays. It's a stark difference for sure.
It's more orange than anything.
Oh yeah, it's orange, absolutely. I think, you know, you have to be very, very careful. You know, when it comes to free range, you got to be careful with that term, because you could have chickens that are free range but actually in a contained area. The idea of free range is, yeah, your chickens go outside and they're rambling across the fields and picking up the worms, grubs and scratching and stuff, and that's not entirely true. It just means that they're not in a cage and they have the ability to walk out through a door, but when they do so, they're still in another enclosed area. So that's another thing to also recognize. It's kind of like a manipulation of the words, so to speak. But as long as you got these hens outside and running up and down and doing their thing, it's your egg quality is going to be a whole lot better. I think also from an ecological standpoint too. Okay. Any further questions?